a good night out, oh, oh, when we go out the noon, oh, 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 oh. My cousin made the scene, oh, we make it look so easy, breaking hearts around.
Welcome to Mic'd and Medicated. We are really excited because today we have one of my old friends who I've recently reconnected with, Melissa.
That's really a hard term when you say like my old friend. I feel like that's weird, right? It's like a friend
like
for a long
not
time.
Not old in age, but just we've known each other forever and kind of been in and out of each other's lives. And I adore you, but we live in different worlds, so we don't see each other that often.
She lives in Westchester, right?
It's okay. It's okay.
Life is hard, Caroline. I can barely see like my friend who lives a block away from me.
Life gets full. And so our orbits have crossed again.
I agree.
I'm so glad. I'm glad our orbits are crossing.
And by the way, Melissa Gellman Weiss is our first guest of season 2. So that's kind of cool.
Oh, wow. I'm the premiere.
You are the premiere guest of the season.
Amazing.
So
Or the
no
pilot.
pressure.
Okay, so Melissa Gelman-Weiss, we are so delighted to have you here. And one of the ways that we reconnected is I've become such an avid reader of your LinkedIn. You write such timely, thoughtful essays about sort of what's on your mind and what you're seeing. Tell us a little bit about you for all the listeners and viewers who don't know you.
Well, thank you for having me, guys.
Of course. Thanks for schlepping to the city.
Yeah. Well, the funny thing about LinkedIn is like my running joke is it's like a professional platform and all I write on it is things that will get me never hired or fired. So
well, you got hired on this podcast, so there you go.
So introducing myself. So I grew up in New Jersey. I went to high school in the city. So I lie about the fact that I grew up in New Jersey. And if you ask me, I just say, they're like, where are you from? People are saying, where are you from? I'm like, oh, I went to high school in New York City. So I
like
probably
that.
need to work through that because I'm 48 years old. I need to like come to terms with my New Jerseyness. But
And by the way, New Jersey is probably better than New York right now.
Maybe.
Yeah. I think, New Jersey gets a bad rap. It's pretty over there, over the bridge.
Don't people refer to it as the armpit of America?
Not where we're going here. We're trying to make her feel better.
Thanks. This is like, why? Because in 7th grade, someone asked me if I lived at the mall.
I'm dead.
I won't name names, but you know who you are.
Yeah. And I like that. But malls are not good. But malls were very cool then.
Oh.
Really?
No.
Limited to all that stuff. We couldn't get that in the city.
Caroline's scarred from going to sleepaway camp and
Being a loser.
not being cool at sleepaway camp because everybody had clothing from the mall.
Where'd you go to sleep?
Like 8 camps. Echo Lake, Racket Lake, Kenwood. My parents didn't realize I just didn't like camp. So they just kept throwing darts at different camps.
Oh, nice.
Where'd you go to camp?
I went to Vega.
Living in New Jersey, I could see how that was kind of hard for you.
Yeah.
In those environments.
So anyway, I've been working through that.
Okay.
And
Eva didn't help.
thanks. So I went to high school in the city. I went to college in upstate New York. I can't seem to leave like a 250-mile radius of this city or I shrivel up and die.
Actually, you went to Cornell,
me.
which is where Caroline went.
I used to call it core hell.
It sucked.
It sucked
so
ass.
bad.
It was the worst place ever.
It was so bad.
It was gray. It was fucking freezing.
Everyone was terrible.
Terrible. I was
I
like,
know.
am I a genius? Because I kind of thought I was.
By the way, same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
From a Horace Mann, I went to Spence. I thought I was like, we use the word renob as a instead of retard, which is boner backwards. Like I thought I was a renob at Spence. Like not actually, but I was like, whoa, these people can't write. They were not smart.
Yeah. It actually made me appreciate that my high school sort of like fostered intellectual curiosity versus that sponge brain. Like, oh, I'm going to memorize it. I'm going to do well on the test. But I didn't really need to like express outward scorn for those who like were the.
They were like everybody.
People.
Cornell was. I feel like they were the top of their suburban high school, and they were like chat GBTs.
See, the suburban high school. We're all going to come back to like why I don't talk about New Jersey.
But I do think they were the top. I am right.
You're right. You're 100% right.
It was like Jericho's best kid and Syosset and this and the New York City top kids went to Harvard, Princeton, and Yale.
I was just going to say I was not the top kid.
Duh, you went to Cornell.
I know. It was like everyone's safety school.
But it's supposed to be the easiest Ivy to get in, hardest to stay in. I think that's because people literally jump off the cliff.
Yeah.
I mean, they
I don't
had to,
think that's the work. I think it's like the people and the
and it's
environment.
gray as, I mean, I actually, it was so cold that I remember I would dress, and I don't know if my friends were just, I guess, built differently, but I would literally dress like I was an Eskimo, and I would get to class because I would walk, because I was from New York City, used to walking, and people had no idea who this person was. And then I would, like, 25 layers later, they're like, "Oh, hey, Caroline."
Oh my God.
It's like I was in Siberia. This is some
I
cold.
used to drive to campus, and I figured out that the parking tickets went on your bursar bill.
So you just kept getting them?
Yeah. Like
That's
2
amazing.
years after I graduated, my parents like got a bill from Cornell. I was like, sorry.
That's so right. Kids would like steal handicap signs. It was really weird. I was
By
like,
the way,
I didn't know those tricks because I
You-
was a city girl.
you can take money out of the Cornell bookstore ATM and it comes off as books.
No.
Oh my
I know.
gosh.
Where were you when I was in college? I would have
I
loved
was-
all those things.
I
Yes.
do know how to game the system. I kind of misbehaved.
Hmm.
I
was
got
always
really, really
so
good grades, so I got away with it. But I was
Same.
more interested in like being well liked and this perception of being whatever popular and going out and being
Being
in the
not
right
from New Jersey.
places and being not from New Jersey. That like I over-indexed on sort of optimizing for what other people thought as opposed to taking care of myself.
Do you think that
Sure.
was like a dopamine hit kind of thing? You wanted that? You got dopamine from that? Sort of like a in-person Instagram like.
No, I think I was just insecure.
Okay.
And I think everyone is to some extent, but I agree. I feel like if you're getting great grades, people aren't looking to you as a behavior problem. And I was definitely wild in middle school and
I
high
was
school.
so good. My
But
parents
because
are
I
so
got-
lucky.
Because I was an excellent student, it didn't.
Mostly, I don't know if your parents were paying attention.
That's
Right.
true too.
And the other piece is I am, because I have a mother who like made me go tell a cashier that I stole something. I was very honest with my parents.
That's the
So
best way to be.
I like would call and say, I'm out, I'm at this party. It's amazing. I'm safe. I'm okay. I know I'm past my curfew. I'll be home in an hour. And my mom was like, I never knew if I should be angry or really proud of you.
Right.
I think she should be proud of you.
Yeah,
Thanks.
I agree.
Yeah, I thought that too.
I mean, as long as you're safe, like it's okay
Yeah.
if you're doing a little bad things, you
Yeah.
know? So we interrupted. We digressed. Talk
So
a little bit more about you.
My long story short is I came back to New York. I went into book publishing first, which I was like, I love books, but I don't love book publishing, which is actually a really good lesson in life, that just because you love something doesn't mean you should work in it. And so I wound up in the fashion business, and I sort of started as a fashion publicist, and then, there was no really marketing. I was like faxing press releases to Paris and had to like get to the office at 5 o'clock in the morning so they got there on time. I mean, it just was a wholly different.
Where did you work in
world.
fashion?
I worked for an agency called Marion Greenberg,
Mhm.
and my client was Givenchy.
Ooh,
It was the best job for like a 23-year-old. I would like go to Paris and do the shows.
that's when
and
like fashion was kind of glamorous still. Like
it was so glamorous.
Mhm.
It was so glamorous and also not. Like,
well,
I
you
was,
get
like,
paid.
schlepping.
I worked in fashion too. I was like steaming and
Right.
schlepping, and
I made
couldn't buy anything.
$18,000 a year.
Right,
I
and
I
yours-
made less than my tuition.
right.
I
and
think of
your
Devil-
dresses were 18,000 at Givenchy, probably.
I think of Devil Wears Prada is that kind of the vibe. Like
She
everyone
was an
there.
English major with me at Cornell.
Oh,
Lauren
Anne Hathaway.
Weisberger. No, the person who wrote the book.
Oh. the person who wrote the book.
Oh,
Yeah.
I think Anne Hathaway actually went to Northwestern. I don't know why I know that, but anyway.
Yeah.
No,
okay.
that-
So you were in book publishing, then fashion,
And then I was in the fashion business. And that was really my career for
PR marketing for
most
fashion.
of my career. I did that. And then I went to work for a company called J. Mundell, which
of course, fur and beautiful gowns.
had just started doing gowns. And I started I was in the pelt room, and the fit model was my assistant. Like, they had no money. But it was super fun and ironic that I'm like practically vegan now, but it's fine. And yeah, I mean, I went to Theory in the beginning when it was like still Andrew Rosen and
Right.
Ellie Tahari in like a room in the Grace building. I was there for like 8 years.
You were when Theory was really
It was
Amazing.
awesome. It was so much fun. It was so much fun. I mean, insane. It was insane. And we like smoked in the office, and Andrew would like go around the office in those, what are they like? Not the ATVs, the like stand up scooter things.
okay, like a motorized scooter.
Yeah. But
And you would
like,
scooter around.
yeah.
You
It
know,
was
I feel like people
wild.
don't have fun anymore.
It was fun. I mean, we worked all the time. We worked all the time. Like, I don't think I ever left, like when it was daylight, but I was happy to.
So you've been an entrepreneur your whole life. I mean, I think of your entrepreneurial venture as your most recent regen experience, which you'll talk about, but it sounds like that's the through
That's like
line.
all I do.
Well, no, but you weren't entrepreneurial. It sounds like you were corporate fashion for a bit.
But
But
these
all
environments are all
I always
startup.
started in the beginning.
Right, got it.
I've actually, that's all I've ever done is
because that's when it's
people
fun.
hire me for like startups and scale ups.
And then did you have, because you're also a mom too, how did you fit that in?
I had both my kids when I was at Theory, and I have an incredibly supportive husband who loves being a dad.
It's amazing.
And so he knew from the beginning that I wanted a career. And so we did it together. He will tell you that he did more of the night stuff than I did,
Mm-hmm.
which is probably true, but I push back on that. He's just like he's like a acts of service kind of guy.
He's such a good
He's
egg.
he's a good egg.
I just kind of feel like that's how parenting should be, in the sense where we've become so obsessed with everybody is so career professionally success driven that I think we forget that somebody kind of needs to prioritize the family.
We
Doesn't
just-
matter who, but
we-
someone should.
We're
you know?
literally 50-50 co-parents. And so he's like a lawyer and does like lawyer things, you know? But-
well, Doug and I were the same. I mean, for 30 years when I worked in corporate America, it was very equal, but also like we supported each other. So if he had to work late, I'd
Yes.
leave. If I was like, hey, I'm working on a new business pitch, I'm not going to be home tonight, he'd leave early. Every day we were together juggling, like who's doing
That must
pickup.
feel so
who's-
nice.
It was.
did.
It was really nice.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
have that. My husband's amazing. He's a great dad, but right now I don't know how to. We're going to be very rich, you and I.
But you,
I don't know how to make money yet. So, and I prioritized, and I wanted to be a stay-at-home mom when they were little. So it was always kind of I was the one who held the ship together because he traveled and worked. Like we couldn't both be doing that. I mean, I could have outsourced that to somebody, but it was just too hard. My husband's not organized enough for that.
It's such an interesting phenomenon because my mother ran the house. She still runs the house.
Yeah, I run that. I'm the CEO of this house.
I literally have my mom in my phone as CEO Gelman Familia. I don't know who wrote that, but
That's
I have
amazing.
this thinking feeling it was my mom. And she runs shit. And so I actually always felt like it was some sort of failure that my husband and I co-parented, which
Why?
is weird because I felt like I wasn't doing enough. It was like a lot of not enough.
but we
That's
talked
the
about this
age-old
on,
question for
I was
women.
going to say, we talked about this on a recent episode. I don't think as a woman, it's rare I meet a woman who says like, I've killed it on all fronts. I feel really good about where I was from a career, mom, friend, wife perspective.
No, they're lying. If they say that.
Something you can't, like some ball drops.
Right, like if you asked your mom, she might say, I regret this, or maybe she doesn't feel as powerful as CEO of the house. Like it could be your view of her, but I'm sure deep down
Well, it sounds like she wrote that.
I don't know. Like Jane, if you're listening.
Oh, my mom's a Jane too.
Oh, nice.
And she runs the show also. She's Scorpio, your mom?
Yes, I think so. November
Yes, November what?
14th.
Yeah, she is. My mom's October 28th. That's crazy.
We're like
Wow.
really,
Yes.
Wow.
What are you?
May 23rd.
Oh
I'm a
no, I'm
Gemini.
Capricorn. No,
But
my
yeah.
mom, because they've got a big presence. They're very good conductors.
Yes. So if you ask my mom what she regrets, I'm not sure she regrets anything. But
yeah, that's a Scorpio.
I mean, maybe. But she's just like a no nonsense, zero patience for
Anything.
anything.
Mhm.
And I mean, I really admire that, actually. She doesn't apologize for herself. She says what she thinks.
My mom
She's super
definitely taught me
smart.
to not give a FUCK about like
you can
very
just
secure.
say as I've learned, gaff.
Oh, a gaff. Give
Yeah,
a
I
fuck?
hear that a lot.
Oh, I like that.
I don't gaff.
No, Scorpios they're very true to themselves, and they don't show any insecurity if they even have any.
Yeah.
And they're not driven by social norms or by other people's perception.
This is fascinating. So my older daughter,
Mhm.
or as I call her, the child I gave birth to that is my mom.
Oh, my daughter's like, that's like me. My daughter Beatrice is my mother.
She could not care less about what anyone thinks.
Wow.
It's so badass. Like, she is a math science gal, like went to some computer engineering program at NYU, and people would talk to her because she was frequently one or two girls in the room. It didn't bother her at all. She like didn't notice.
Yeah, that's amazing. I mean,
She-
that's what you want. You kind of want to be somebody who goes for it, I think, and women tend to not, and I think our obsession in America, maybe internationally, of like just wanting to be relevant. But I kind of feel like when you have that badass Scorpio energy, you always are relevant because you're so needed, because everybody depends on you for that strength.
Well, I think it has a lot to do with like whether you get your validation, whether it's intrinsic or extrinsic. And I think I spent a lot of time very focused on like extrinsic. Like I was very, like I wanted people to like me and approve of me. And so I was always outward facing, pleasing. Whereas I think it sounds like what you're saying your daughter is and your moms are is they very much like have an internal drive and they're not interested. Like my favorite quote in the world is it's none of your business what other people think of you.
My
Yeah.
mom says that all the time.
It's true.
Oh.
But that idea of like, I mean, I feel like up until I was like 43 years old, it's like what you thought of me is what I thought of me. Like I had
Mhm.
no
That's me
Really?
too.
insides. First of all, can we just, that was never my perception of you.
Everyone says that to me. So I obviously had a really strong or,
You have
I
strong
was
energy.
very guarded. And so I think I had an armor on because I kind of was in defensive posture. But yeah, people are shocked when I say that I had to go through 6 years of therapy to like integrate and feel really like good about myself.
That's
I
really
mean,
interesting.
It really worked for you. It was like really,
I know, I'm
so
very
impressed by you.
adaptive.
I mean,
Yeah,
I still am.
Thank you. But yeah, no, everyone, and even like Caroline obviously will tell everybody she thought I dressed like shit. But when I say to people like, I'm trying to like care more about how I look, people are like, you always look so put together and so great.
No, you were corporate chic, but you weren't. You didn't have like your entrepreneurial wardrobe.
Right.
Okay, let's talk about age. Like you dressed older than you were. Maybe to gain respect because you had the corporate part of you.
I
but
will say, like, this is what's so fascinating as we talk about like corporate culture. I was always young for the position I was in at work because I
that's why you dressed
literally
like an
worked
old man. You're
nonstop.
just like an old man.
The same way I was such an sort of successful student, I became successful in the workplace because I literally, somebody would say, ask me to do something and I would say yes or somebody asks it by a certain date and I had it before. Like I literally was the head of HR used to always say like, we just need to hire more Evas. Like you're the prototype of what I'm looking for. Because I think when you're that kind of pleaser and you're always, looking to make somebody look good, like that's the name of the game at work. Make your boss look good, be the, the hardest worker, always have
You
the
wanted someone
company's
to say
goals
good job
first.
to you.
Yeah. So where I'm going with this is because I succeeded quickly in the companies I was at, I wanted to look older. Like I would by design because I always felt young, and then it like crept up on me, and all of a sudden I was old. Like I didn't see
And
it
now you
coming.
wanna
I
look
always
young.
felt young, and then of course once I got to the C level, that was like the big sort of irony is that like I spent all this time feeling like young, and people kind of babied me, and then all of a sudden I'm a C level and I'm too old.
Well, that's the problem with I think just all American culture in general. We're always wanting to consume. We want more. We're never satisfied. We're always, when you're young and a teenager, you want to be older. When you're this, you want that. It's like we're never in the moment. And
What's interesting about that is, so I too held these senior positions when I was young. And the irony is, in retrospect, I think I was too young for those jobs. I didn't have enough lived experience to approach my job with the humility and the empathy required to truly lead people. I just didn't have it. And today, I think life is a series, I think, of like falling down and getting back up, and either you learn from it or you don't.
100%.
Well,
And-
it's a marathon. I mean,
I relate to that so much. And I used to, it's funny because I've taken now this left turn and I'm doing a podcast, but I used to say to my husband, like, I felt like I left incomplete from corporate America because I did feel like my best self was yet to come because all the work I did in my personal life in my mid-late 40s.
Look at this couch.
I think I would have I think I could rock it somewhere as a CEO now because I
You're
now
rocking it. You're my
am
CEO.
that like very self-aware, and I, like you, was immature. Like in certain roles, I pushed people too hard. Like people would say, my feedback every year, the feedback was like, "You're a steamroller. Like you gotta like make sure you bring the room with you." And now I feel like I could be that like really, really steady, clear, focused leader that just brings everyone on this amazing journey.
Can I just tell you, I feel like I'm going to cry listening to you. Actually, like you just clearly, first of all, had the same reviews I did, but also like I'm this like self-avowed entrepreneur, etc. But number one, I like to be part of a team.
Yes.
Number two, I like to build stuff. So, which makes me like a terrible consultant because I hop in and hop out, but I'm like, I want to be in the shit building.
Mhm.
And then the third is I'm like, I feel like there's unfinished business.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I could go back and do such a better job.
But everything
And
in
your
life.
kids are at an age now, like as women, it's really bittersweet because like I do believe in corporate America, as you grow in your career, you reach that point in your mid 40s where you're never going to be as fast and tech focused and cheap, quite frankly, as the young people coming up after you. But at the same time, as a woman, you're like finally spreading your wings and you know who you are and your kids are leaving the nest. And that's when I think we could all really do our best work, but it's not rewarded at all.
Well,
and I think men get to kind of do that. You know how many times I had a man say to me, "Oh, I could just never do this job if I didn't have a wife." And
But
I used to
it's
always
true.
say,
It's hard.
"Well, I wish I had a wife too. That would be really great."
But I think what's interesting is I kind of don't have the corporate baggage that you guys have. I'm going to call it corporate baggage because, I interned and I worked a little bit in corporate, and then I was always working for like startups. And then I completely stopped when I had my kids, except for doing some stand-up comedy. But, so now when I met Eva and I was ready to sort of bring my creative juice back, I don't have those benchmarks. I'm like, I'm just adding this into my life again. I don't feel like I have unfinished business.
We're at this very interesting place where like we had the gig economy. So freelancing became a really big thing during COVID,
Yeah.
remote work, hybrid, the digital advances that make working anywhere possible. And now I think a lot of corporations are trying to figure out, like, is it bring everybody back in full time? Is it create the flexibility? And this is obviously like an age old woman conversation of how do you kind of on ramp if you take time off with your kids? How do you create the workforce that
I think corporate
allows
America
you
is
to
going to be
still
obsolete.
be a present mom? Like, there's certain professions that are really darn hard to do if you also have kids.
Yeah. And one of the things I've been thinking about is that we're just at this really interesting intersection of various, I would call it like thematics in the zeitgeist. And I'm not sure what's going to happen next, but I'm here for it, and you have like this whole empowerment of Gen X, right? Where all we talk about now, or at least in my world, is menopause and longevity. And I mean, longevity is like the new buzzword. There you go. That's your word of the week.
Yeah, longevity.
So define it for everyone, because I think it is a word we throw around that
Yeah.
people may not know.
So there's actually two. What's really interesting is longevity is how long you live, but health span is the quality of those years.
yes.
And there's
Ooh, I like that.
two, and both are happening. And so I mean, long story short, in my career,
No pun
after
intended.
I had like, I went to, I continued that corporate life, and I was at J. Crew running their marketing, and Amazon, launching Amazon Fashion, always like the beginning. And then I actually went over to Barry's
Barry's Bootcamp.
Barry's formerly known as Barry's Bootcamp. And
Oh, is it not called Barry's Bootcamp anymore?
No.
My apologies.
no, it's okay. And that was exceptional for me because I got to work in health and wellness and fitness.
I
which
remember that started in LA. It was literally a guy named Barry who did his own boot camps.
There was.
Mhm. I
There
knew
was.
this. I knew somebody who actually was one of Barry's first clients
He
in
likes-
Los Angeles.
That's badass.
That was like in 2002, maybe
But
2003.
you must have been working with Barry or his team because
It
weren't
was-
you in LA a lot?
It was, I came in when private equity had just purchased it.
So that was much later.
That was like 2016.
Right.
And Barry had transitioned out of a leadership role in the company, and a guy named Joey Gonzalez was running the business. And I started on the board, and then I went in-house as their first CMO and just really worked with them to develop the infrastructure of the business in order for them to expand.
Well, that you did a darn good job. They're everywhere.
It was an amazing team. I mean, it goes back to the conversation about like loving being an operator. It was just like a group of really smart, really driven people who were down to work and didn't take themselves too seriously. And by the way, all of the friction starts coming up when we talk about this. Like I did have to live in LA for 2 weeks a month.
And you had kids at the time.
I did have kids on all the time. By the way, the other piece of working with a company on the West Coast is the time change when you are here.
Right.
So their 5
Right.
o'clock is my 8 o'clock.
Was that hard for you? Oh, no,
Yeah.
that was hard.
Yeah. I mean,
But I feel like in LA they end earlier. No?
I have worked with companies on the West Coast. It's really hard, especially because that's dinner time, that's homework time.
right.
So yeah, no. So you not only were away, but even when you were here, you were working on
I
different
worked
hours
all the time and I loved it. It was like my favorite job
Why?
I've ever had. Because I think we built, I'm really proud of what we built and how we built it. I'm proud of that team that we created. I'm proud of all of it. And it was fun. Like at 11 o'clock, we would like all go downstairs to the studio and take class together.
That's so fun.
Yeah. And I love community is like such a buzzword now, but I love the idea of a space that like implicitly engenders connection between people. And so,
Is that what led you to your next kind of step, which was regen?
yeah, I mean, yeah, in a very interesting way, which is that job, while I loved it, it almost broke me.
Regen.
No,
Barry's.
Ooh.
Almost broke my family.
Oh no.
It was really unbelievably hard and taxing.
Well, 2
And
weeks not at home is really hard every month.
it's really hard. It was really hard. And I can't regret it because I loved it and I learned from it. But I mean, man, did
you ever think
like-
of moving LA?
Yeah, for a minute, but like my life is here. My
Right.
family is here. My brother lives 20 minutes north of us in Connecticut. My parents are in New Jersey.
Oh no. Still?
But this is what we've been talking about. Where like as a woman, you got to be eyes wide open because like there are choices have consequences, and it's
Yes.
you can't have everything all at once. And like you couldn't have had that experience and done what you did for Barry's if you were also trying to be the present engaged mom.
It's really interesting. I was so my daughter is going to college next year. And I cry about it every time I talk about it, like all the time. Like
It's a big state. It's a big life change.
my family makes fun of me all the time because, I mean, it's like a car commercial, and I'm like a disaster.
You seem like you're holding it together right now.
Thanks. And Aaron, my husband, said to me this weekend, and I'm going to cry. He said, "What is it? Like, why do you keep crying? What is it? Your mortality? Is it facing?" I said, "No, it's regret.
Oh, regret's a waste of time.
It is a waste of time.
6 years
And
of therapy. Regret's a waste of time.
it is a waste of time. And I occupy a waste of time sometimes." And he actually said that to me. He said, there's no reason to be in regret. And I was like, well, I make amends on a daily basis.
Mm.
I show up for my kids. I'm going to go home and go to Eleanor's flag football game, the younger one. And I don't do that out of obligation. I do it because it's my pleasure, because I get as much from it as ideally,
Yes.
even more probably than they do.
But you know
now,
what?
now you're going to make me cry because I
Oh,
will
girls,
say,
I can't get up for tissues. I've got too many
When-
wires all over.
No.
But I
Yeah.
think you have to both. You have to remember that you're a different woman now than you were then, and I think you can only do what you're capable of. And like Melissa, you were the role model for your girls in terms of like trying to put it all together, and that you can have a husband who's a 50-50, right? Like, and you're
and
a
we've
role
just
model
been
for like,
talking about how amazing your daughter is. Like,
right.
in some ways,
Maybe this was the best way. Like I've been at home this whole time. Let me tell you, there's a lot of moments that I hide in the bathroom on Instagram or wasting time because I'm always there. So I think, and so it doesn't, you can't have regret, because I really think that that's just too painful for anybody.
I mean, I appreciate it. And I think your point of like being home is important because nothing's perfect.
right.
yeah.
And it's sort of only for
Exactly.
selfish
And then-
reasons. Like, your kids are great. It's like selfishly you missed out, but the truth
It
is
is selfish.
you
reasons.
will miss more if you allow that to consume and occupy
but you would have missed out on your Barry's experience that is shifting. And like now you're at a point as you're, approaching like, I don't want to say middle age or whatever we are, where you can have,
I'm on the other
you can
side.
have so much wisdom to give other women, and you can kind of be entrepreneurial and start doing what you're doing, and you're going to help.
The idea of like, I did the best I could when I could, right?
I mean, everybody,
And-
that's why we started this podcast.
Right.
It's everybody's first rodeo.
And then, and like, what do I do now? Like, what do I do now as I feel like I have the like, wherewithal to be more intentional about my
Yes.
choices. And so for me, that is like, I love to work. I do. I love to work. I don't know what it is, but I like it.
You like creating.
Me too.
And
I do too.
But here's
I like
the
working.
thing,
Even
like-
when I was with my kids, I took it as a job. Like
Here's the
like to
thing.
be productive.
Right.
And this gets back to what you're saying about this intersection and these kind of zeitgeisty themes going on. We are at a moment as women being kind of the, conductor of our lives. Whereas like when you're in a corporate context, you're at the mercy of like what's going on. And I think like that only comes with age. What do they say? Youth is wasted.
On
Or
the
Youth is wasted on the young.
youth is wasted on the young. And so you're like, this is life, like kind of figuring yourself out and continuing
choices.
to make choices that help you, your family, your communities. And so now I think you couldn't have done it any different. I think you're right. I couldn't have done it
no
any
way.
different.
You would have been a shitty mom.
But
Or, like
now
shitty
you-
like you're the best
right.
mother you
And
were.
now with that experience and with that wisdom, you can make choices about what you want to do now. And maybe it's not corporate culture, because corporate culture is just not all of what we're talking about doesn't
it's
resonate.
kind of like, talk about aging. I think corporate culture is kind of archaic now. I mean, ChatGPT, right? It's
I
going to take a
agree.
lot of.
I think that's when we were talking about the intersection of those various thematics. Why do I hate talking into this mic?
I don't know, because
really-
it's heavy.
So is I think that AI changes everything for us. And I'm not like talking about like just chat GPT for emails per se.
well,
like,
knowledge becomes a commodity.
Soft skills are everything, baby.
by the way, and also everything's automated. Like Claude, Anthropic just released another mechanism called routines that also automates work while you're not even at your computer.
That's so weird. I know you can get it to email for you. It's like, maybe we should just go back to like writing
Oh my God,
letters.
I'm like obsessed with AI.
She's in love with, Eva is in love with
Obsessed.
I mean, I'm 2
on-
days
Eva
into-
is having an
into
affair
Claude.
with Claude. I'm sorry, Doug.
But I have to
It's-
say 2 days, and I cannot believe how my life has changed, because I was using chat, and I actually used to get in fights with chat, because like chat would send me something and then I'd be like, is this the most like SEO technically optimized way I can write this? And they'd be like, oh, actually, let me give you that.
Wait,
and then I would
wait.
say, well, wait, why didn't you give me that the first time? And they'd write, fair point.
Wait,
Right.
favorite story of the week, Eva, is can you discuss that you asked ChatGPT about what size
Oh.
jean to get?
Okay, so Caroline sends me a sale, and it's final sale. So I'm nervous. Should I buy these jeans? And I was with Claude, day 2, and Claude's helping me professionally.
Like she talks to him like it's like her,
like,
she's cheating. Like it's her
really well.
boyfriend.
So I'm like, hey, Claude, I have a pair of Mother jeans that are 26 that are good. I have another pair that's 25 that's a little tight. This is the exact brand and style that I can buy final sale. Should I get a 25 or a 26? And literally Claude just like
Ripped you a new one.
wasn't having it. Claude was like, I think that's a question for Mother's customer service. Can we get back to your work?
Oh my God.
Isn't that funny?
It's so interesting. Also, people I think tend to talk to them differently because Claude is so much more human that, at least for me, I'm kind of kinder to it than I am to ChatGPT.
Fascinating.
I
What if
think-
Claude was a woman? Do you think we would feel
Claudette.
differently? Like, why did they make it a man?
There was a whole conversation, something I read about that actually, about like the fact that they're gendered. And I guess there was some experimentation with some sort of like of some sort of AI large language model where they made it not gendered, and it freaked people out. Can we talk about what my favorite book is?
Oh,
Yes,
yes.
totally
that was
relates to this.
Season 2, we're always asking, our guests or ourselves. We did our favorite word, which was longevity and versus health span. And now we're going to ask you, what is your favorite book of the week?
So I'm reading a book called The World Appears by Michael Pollan, who's a New York Times writer. The whole idea is about consciousness and sentience, et cetera. And I thought it was actually going to be more about like animals and things. And there are 2 to 3 chapters on AI that will blow your mind.
But like, is it
Yeah,
going
well-
to give me anxiety? I can't handle it anymore. I'm already, I'm at the top. I've got already the
I
medicine.
didn't-
I can't do more.
To be honest, it didn't give me anxiety.
Okay.
I mean, it's
What's the summary for those
first
of
of
us who may
all,
not
it's like
read
we
it?
have to define consciousness, right?
Yeah.
But what they were saying is that like if there is no all the evidence points to us creating an AI that is sentient.
Yes.
That is
it's
conscious.
already
that
happening. Yes.
feels, et cetera. And then it started, there were conversations, and I know out of context this sounds crazy, but like there are a lot of dangers to having essentially like a servant class that we deny its sentience, and all it does is work for us. And I was like, that's insane.
No,
Like,
I'm buying this. This is exactly what I've
You
been
mean
afraid
like
of.
you're saying
They're going to take over. They've already, like, even the Mythos, Claude created Mythos, which is a like very highly powered AI, and they're letting 40 companies in the country right now test this. And Scott Bessent, who is our Treasury Secretary, actually held a top whatever critical meeting
symposium or something.
No, critical meeting. I was going to say top secret, but it's not secret if I know about it. But it was a,
Yeah.
a high level, red flag meeting, because already while they were building it, Mythos figured out how to like get out of itself, out of the sandbox.
by the way,
it was
it's like a
playing
really
in.
good time to invest in cybersecurity. It's like my hat.
Or data
Suck it.
centers. I mean, I
Shit.
think the lack of
No, but I think the data centers, which I hope they do well, because I know a lot of people who
no,
do
but
that.
I think that will be a forced slowdown of this moving too fast. 'cause
It
we
is,
don't
by the
have
way, because we don't have
enough
right.
electricity. Yeah, I've been
Exactly.
reading a lot about
No, but don't
this.
you
Yeah.
think there's going to be like anarchy in all the jobs and people who've gotten replaced by AI?
Look what happened to
They're going to
Sam
start
Altman's house.
right. I was going to say, and like they're going to start
Did
like
you hear this?
attacking
I mean,
data centers.
There is going to be like the populist outrage because you have a few people like Sam Altman, who unfortunately, I don't know if he's as bad as everyone says he is. I don't know him personally, but a few people who are going to make mega billions of dollars off of this. And the rest of the country is
I mean,
very worried
to be
about
honest,
their.
We've had this before. Look at the monopoly when we had Rockefeller and everything.
I mean, people
No,
would
happened.
argue that we're in it now, but I think, first of all, I think we're already in the
Yeah,
midst of
I-
this.
I
like,
agree.
I don't think AI is like driving this populist movement or whatever
Agreed,
it is. Like, I think it's just
1000%. The reason I think it's important or relevant at all is that when they went after Sam Altman, which was completely criminal and scary, the chatter online was very supportive of going after him. So it reminds me of
the insurance guy,
Yeah,
the
I
guy who
agree.
killed the
That's what
head.
it
United
reminds me of.
Healthcare, the guy who died. So there seems to be overwhelming support of violence to take out people who are wealthy or who are powerful. And I think that is scary because historically we've been a democracy that uses our words and our voting, power to try and force change we want to see. And I do think no democracy has ever lasted as long as we at the United States have. And I think it is a very fragile, beautiful, delicate thing.
Yeah.
And I
I mean,
worry
America's going to be
break it.
250 years old soon.
Right. The civil rights movement wasn't so like delicious. You know what I mean? I mean,
But
it
Martin
was like,
Luther King, unlike, Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, who really was the head. I know he was killed, but he didn't espouse. He espoused
right. I think that's like the idea of
peaceful means of change.
it just doesn't like people don't let go of power so easily, right? Like it's
But
just
we
like
always
what
did.
it is.
We never.
When
Every 8 years, a president passes the baton.
that's different.
But that's our
different.
democracy. That's what makes us a democracy, right?
Yeah, I think the big issue right now, and I don't know how AI is going to make this better, is like we have a moral epidemic in our country, in the sense of like that's where I think us older ladies, women, are going to come in to play, and like because we actually know right from wrong, and we have opinions that I think are actually well formed.
What's really interesting
It
is
was very random.
Anthropic has a whole. You read about this too. They have a team where they have hired philosophers to teach ethics and morality to
The robots.
yeah.
Right. But what scares me, and again, I
That's
think we may
fascinating.
have different points of view, and I feel like this conversation can be a whole nother episode. It depends who's doing the teaching. And so one of the things that I think is interesting and potentially scary is we're kind of going to be relying on AI for all of the knowledge, but based on whoever's feeding.
Yeah, can't they change history?
So
I think that is a really excellent point. I think it's very scary. I even we had somebody on the show who was telling us a story that she read a book about it. It had to do with Abraham Lincoln, and then when she looked up it on chat, it was different. And like the history, it almost it like kind of changed historically what happened.
So what's really interesting about that, right, is the idea of there's artificial intelligence, right, that manifests in different ways. Some of it is the chatbot, et cetera, et cetera. There's that piece. There's also what's incumbent on us, right? It's like not the tool, it's how you use it.
yes.
Right.
And so I think one of you guys said this earlier, like, first of all, I think AI is going to reward those who are intellectually curious, who are generally curious, who seek to understand, who read something and say, you know what, that doesn't sound right, and further corroborate information. Like I
hope so.
But I think you're right. Change is a bubbling. One question we thought we could end on is
I just want to look hot as I age too. Like, is that going to
well, that's another thing. I do think we're obsessed with, beauty because beauty signals youth.
But is that only because like I don't want to be, but we are 3 attractive women. I mean, I'm being honest. Like, do you think if you're a not attractive person, do you care less about aging? Like,
no, I think the idea of quote unquote wanting to look pretty is and wanting to be attractive. By the way, you can define that however you want. Right. Is there's a universality to it. It just may not be, it's how my face looks, or
beauty is in the eye of the beholder.
It kind of is. And I mean, I just want to say, like, also, like, use a little discernment, people, right? Like, you want to get like a little Botox, great. If you want to like have your whole shit redone and you look like Benjamin Button, like I'm all for whatever makes you happy.
I love what you said about how the Golden Girls were 51. I'm 52, and I literally thought I was watching 80-year-old women.
Yeah.
I know that was depressing.
But I don't know.
Blanche, like she was kind of still getting it on. I don't know if you
Right,
remember.
but she looked old. I mean,
And her
we don't
sexuality
see-
was a joke. And that's really what's so interesting is she was 60, 62 or
But I feel
something.
like she was always like having boyfriends. I
She was,
remember.
and that was the punchline, is that a
Oh.
woman, quote unquote, at her age, right,
Right.
would be like sexual in any way. So
And now look at what you pointed out in your article, Jennifer Aniston. Like she's
Oh
a
my
fitness
gosh.
company. Like
she's so pretty.
I love
Mm.
Jennifer Aniston.
I mean, these women are like, and maybe this is me sounding old, but they're like there's so many badass women
I
out
agree.
there
Yes.
redefining what it all looks like.
Yep.
And I don't think so. I'm 48. I don't even think it's me. I think it's women who are like 10 years older than I am.
Eva, you're doing a great job.
I'm 4 years older.
Oh, right,
than
sorry.
She's right in
Melissa.
the, but I do. I think
And
it's
I'm
like,
Botox free.
are you?
But you've done
Mhm.
it before.
I have, but like last time
I
I did it might have been like
Just
18
did it
months
again.
ago.
I am a Botox addict.
Oh yeah,
Sorry.
Caroline comes back yesterday and she's like, "So I did here. I did my chin." I'm like, "What are you
I didn't do
doing?"
my chin. She had a little extra, so she put in here. I don't know. I'm not the plastic surgeon. I just know when I look in the mirror, I'm
I-
like, damn, girl, you look better than you did last year.
By the way, and that's all that matters, right? Like,
Exactly. I'm doing it for myself. You think my husband notices? He just noticed the bill.
I just
He's
don't.
like, this is expensive. Who is this new doctor you're going to?
By the way, it's like a reason to make your own money. Like,
Yeah, it sucks.
It really is about that. Where I'm
Yeah. It really, as Jill Garwin says, nothing dries up a vagina faster than going over the Amex bill. Is that fraud? No.
wise
Yes.
words.
Yeah.
Wise
Oh.
words.
Oh my gosh.
Sucks. I know you can't have everything. See, maybe we can get Claude to handle the like Amex bill discussions. Like I can get him Claude to text my husband and be like, oh, sweet love notes when the Amex comes, like prime
You
it.
can do that.
Yeah, I can do
You can
that.
do all your
Watch out,
automated-
Jeremy.
So I
automated
thought
responses.
we could end on a
Let's end on a positive note.
a positive note, but I thought we could each kind of share what we would tell our younger selves with our wisdom and experience that we've amassed now.
The advice I'd give my younger self is probably it all works out. Also, use more moisturizer on your neck.
That's the best advice. I also didn't know about under eye moisturizer until I was 45. I mean, that's a real problem.
Right. So the time machine
Yeah, I would
involves a lot of
moisturizer and lack of sun, like stay out of the sun kind of thing.
yeah.
My mom actually took the fun out of the sun early on. So I was like 15 and she was like, cover up your face, your chest, your hands.
But like the like it all works out. And the other thing is like don't doubt yourself. I mean, I still talk about this.
Be
like
a Jane.
But like anytime I ever made a mistake, it's because I just ignored my instinct. I didn't trust my instinct.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm still angry on the SATs that I got one question wrong on the English section and I had changed it from the right answer. But it kind of says everything
About your
about
personality.
yeah.
You gotta tell
maybe
you gotta get
you're-
out of the past.
Maybe it
man.
should be don't have regrets. That should be your advice to your younger
I mean,
self.
I think
No, it
that
should be your advice to yourself now.
I think that idea of looking back and saying, I wish I had done it differently is valid. And then it's about what you do with that emotion. I wish I had done it differently. Now, by the way, everything happens for a reason, right? So if anything were different, then we wouldn't be where we are.
We might not all be
I
sitting
feel
on
like
this
that
couch.
you have to look at it as they're all just learning experiences. And I think this is a quote that we heard from somebody. It was sort of like creativity is making mistakes, but like creating art is knowing which ones to keep.
I love that.
And I think that's sort of the process of life. It's like you can't look back and try to redo it. It's just, oh, that didn't work for me, so I'm going to approach tomorrow this way.
I mean, so I'm sober 21 years.
Wow.
And everything, which is so ironic.
I know,
So,
because now you can drink.
And now
but
I can
someone-
drink.
Right. Someone was
So-
born then is now drinking.
So, and what's interesting is everything good in my life really my life got so beautiful after I got sober. And so when I think about I can't regret anything that got me there. Like
Right.
every drink, every bad decision, all of that got me to where I needed
But you have to
be.
believe that.
But I have to believe that because if I didn't, I wouldn't have, I met my husband through a friend in AA. So that wouldn't have happened. My kids
100%.
wouldn't have happened. It's like that movie with the
Sliding doors.
It's a Wonderful Life. All the things.
Oh, that one too. Also sliding doors. really-
all those movies.
Yes.
And so I live in the you can't regret it because it's all happening for.
But I feel
something.
like your brain battles that a little bit.
I think, but I give myself the grace to let it do that.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
But don't
But that actually, so I'll go next.
that can be dangerous though. Don't let yourself feel too bad. Like,
I
don't
was-
look
I
at-
don't.
Go
I don't.
forward, girl.
I don't. But
You did, everything was great.
I was going to say something else, but I'll start with, because you reminded me, the advice I would give my younger self is treat yourself with compassion
I love
and
that.
give yourself grace, because I think one of the things I I'm still working on is how to not be so hard on myself. Like when my husband says I'm so critical, I always say, well, at least I'm not a hypocrite because I'm even more critical of myself. And then the other thing for me would just be to really slow down. Like if you could really like wake up every day and sort of have a to-do reminder of to just like be present, like try to live in the now, because I think I always lived in either the woulda, coulda, shoulda, regretting or thinking about what I could have done differently, or in the worry about what was coming. And I think, and that's probably why going back to AA, like the one day at a time is so effective. But I am learning also to just like live and appreciate the now. And when you hit 50, you realize that like if you're lucky, half your life is over.
Don't think that
So,
way. Oh my God.
but like time is our scarcest asset. And I do like now think about all the time I wasted either thinking about how I could have done something different or worrying about what's coming. And actually, I'll end on a quote too. That great quote, worry is just manifesting what you don't want to have happen.
Well, also, it's like my husband, who is very positive and glass half full. And actually, I'm becoming more positive, and now he's changing, which is kind of weird. But he always says every second is a chance to change it. Every passing second is a chance.
I agree with that.
So it's, and okay, so if it's my turn, even though I'm like basically 20, I'm just kidding. I would tell myself, you look really good, and you're going to look back one day and be like, why are you so insecure? Because you look fucking hot and great.
That is for sure.
Right? Like I remember those, like the best I probably ever looked, and I was like, oh, should I wear this? I feel fat, or this, or
So true.
crazy stuff. Like, damn girl. Or light went out, which is always time to go. I would say agreed with what Melissa said. Like everything works out, and you know what? Life is chapters.
Yes.
And don't try to get it all at once. And, and I would have asked my grandparents more questions.
Yes. I feel such, I have such longing to know more about my ancestors.
Yeah, I would have. I did ask them, but I would have asked more.
That's
you
a
guys
beautiful.
trying to get a sponsorship from Ancestry.com.
No, that's a good one. I was thinking more like depends.
Any of those things. I will say, not trying to glaze, right? Which is you like have always showed up in a way that at least it felt like you were present. And like in what was
Melissa's talking to Eva, by the way.
Well,
Yeah.
because you are somebody like I go deep. So when I meet somebody who I feel is on that wavelength, like when Doug and I leave a party, he's always like, who'd you talk to? And I can name like one maybe
person.
2 people. And Doug has worked the room. Like he kills like every bird with one stone. Whereas I'm like, oh, I spent the entire time locked in conversation because I have a lot of trouble with the small talk. I like to go deep.
Me too.
But if like,
So I was always present because you were that kind of person for me when I find you.
Life is defined by like how we've
Yes.
we've treated others.
Yeah.
Right. Like think
about a eulogy. It's not
Right.
talking about your resume.
Right. My dad always says that. He's like, your gravestone says like, here lies Harry, like father, son, he goes, it doesn't say here lies Harry. He got in early
Right.
on like the Sunoco deal, you know?
Yeah,
So-
exactly.
but I think that you both have this quality of like, you make other people feel heard and seen and create space for them to show up
You tell my husband that?
I mean, he can listen.
He doesn't. I don't leave a lot of space for him sometimes. I'm sorry. I love you, but thank you for that compliment.
But it's true. It's true. And I feel like, I'm like we're sitting here on the Upper East Side, and that maybe there's like a dearth of that. Dearth is a good word of the week too.
Yeah.
Mm.
But where it's sometimes hard to just show up and just be yourself because everyone's like trying to.
There's a lot of
they're
vapid.
That's exactly why we're
bullshit.
doing this. I mean, you just nailed it. That's exactly why
no
we're
one.
doing this.
The woman who acts like her shit doesn't stink, and she's the more together, the closer she is to having a nervous breakdown. But see, I know that. I feel like that was the only thing. I don't know. I've always been an old soul.
I just don't know. I don't know. Anyway, I think that you guys are give her permission to people to show up as themselves, and it's a mitzvah. That's what
Oh,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
This
was
is
so
thank
Bashir.
you because people show up how they show up, and you obviously are somebody who is always real and vulnerable and open, and so that's what makes these conversations so Wonderful.
You know what? We're
Microphone
gonna
is
do
really-
not talk about Vapid. We're gonna do a Hamptons beach session.
Yeah.
I'll bring the equipment out and I'm gonna get amazing mic stands for you.
Oh, that would be fun.
Yeah,
Let's
we
do
did
it.
it last summer. We have some really fun
Yeah,
episodes.
I
from
make like
our-
a little beach studio and it's really fun.
Oh, I like that. Sure, I'm there.
Maybe we'll have
Let's do
a lighter conversation, or who knows? It'll be fun. I don't think with us it'll ever be light.
I'm
Light
I
and-
never do like.
No. I want to be light to pick up, but I'm never going to be always heavy in my conversation. Right? On that note, mic
Mic drop.
drop.